Hello everyone, welcome to the joinDOTA League Asia Division 2 Season 2. We are bringing you Heflatv versus Kingdom. I am Roxas and with me is Coucher. How you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, quite fine. Happy to be casting some Dota again.
Yeah,
There's actually not that much happening lately. At least not anything that's free to cast.
yeah, I don't know, casting Dota, watching Dota, and whenever it's on, you just get to play Dota. You always win, unless Steam is down.
Actually, lately it hasn't been down all that much. Looks like they've been able to fix the majority of their stability issues.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, but regardless, speaking of Steam not being down, it's not down, so Kingdom, they go ahead and start, so we're able to play this game. So I was going to say I missed a part of that. Anyway, Kingdom's going to go ahead and ban out the Lycan and the Nyx Assassin. Heflatv is going to be able to ban out the Invoker. They took a lot of time to think about that, and now they're thinking of if they're going to ban out the Batrider or not, because that's the most obvious thing to be setting up for a first pick with a Nyx Assassin ban. But then, of course, they leave Ember and Centaur in the pool. Ember Spirit not so much, but Centaur quite a pain. So Bat or Centaur is secured for Kingdom in this pick if they decide to go with anything sort of traditional in the sense.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, and actually the Centaur did get banned out, so as far as off lanes go and the initiation, Batrider probably the strongest hero that they could go for. Actually, well, even from the banned heroes, Batrider is still the strongest initiation, at least somewhat, so would even slightly surprise me if Kingdom missed a chance and didn't go for it, and they'll go for an Ember instead. So Heflatv, they can go for the Batrider now if they wish to, maybe even with a Dazzle or Shadow Shaman with it.
Yeah, they could go for Puck, does pretty well against Ember Spirit. Invoker's banned out, that usually does pretty well. Storm is pretty good too if they decide to go for that. But I'm surprised to see Ember first picked, to be totally honest. Yeah, so they decide to pick up the Bat themselves, but Ember is like, yeah, maybe the Sleight of Fist bonus damage to heroes nerf is not the biggest deal towards the end of the game, but I mean, that's during the stage when he really needs to be super active. You get pretty much get phase and drums and then you go. You can't just farm for 40 minutes and then expect to be on the same level as some other carries that have done the same thing. And he kind of has the Mirana curse is the way I like to say it. So it really hurts him in that stage of the game, and I don't really think he's first phase material anymore.
It's just some teams, I guess, haven't really gotten used to the changes yet.
10 seconds remaining.
And actually, the Ember Spirit, I think most teams actually didn't even get to play it that much, even in 6.8, because it was just banned out all the time. So they don't actually maybe know how strong or weak that hero can be. So just experimenting a little bit, but they go for a Shadow Demon now, kind of a defensive hero, but it's actually really strong against the Batrider. If he initiates in, you can either disrupt the Batrider, disrupt the lasso target, or just demonic first the Batrider so that he actually can't drag anybody out of position.
Yep. So pretty standard stock all picks for the first phase, which is what we expect. And also the AA being a bit of a block pick, pretty good with Ember as well. Not to mention AA pairs very well with Batrider because anyone he's ganking all of a sudden has an Ice Blast as well whenever Batrider is trying to be active upon the map, and secures most kills because it's very hard to not drop below that threshold whenever you're sitting in Firefly with 1 or 2 napalm stacks. So
10 seconds remaining.
Storm Spirit and Weaver are going to be banned out. Storm Spirit obviously quite good at controlling the Ember. Weaver pretty hard to control as well. He's equally as elusive and very scary, doing a lot of damage later in the game and in the laning phase with the Ancient Apparition. If you don't have the right tools to lock him down, and I don't think that Kingdom plans on picking those, so they go ahead and ban that. Then Mirana and Sand King are going to be the bans from Heflatv, which are going to, those are paired very well with the Shadow Demon and also kind of hard to deal with if you aren't able to punish them.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But what do you think they're actually going to go for now? I mean, Batrider definitely having the initiation and the Ancient Apparition as well, but will they go for something else that's going for pick-off? But they picked the Doom, and that's one of the best counters to an Ember Spirit.
Yeah, Ember Spirit's certainly one of those heroes that has to use his abilities to be any sort of proficient. Basically, his abilities define him as a hero. He's not defined by walking up and having a lot of health and clicking on people, like Dragon Knight or I don't know. I always just think of DK when I think of like the worst person to Doom, right? Because he just doesn't
10
care.
seconds remaining.
So, Doom. This will probably be a carry Doom. I highly doubt it's
5
going to be a
seconds
mid Doom.
remaining.
It is on the Radiant side, so it's a little bit easier to play that. But
Reserve time.
I expect this to be a safe lane and there to be some other tempo controller, I think is the right word, to go in the mid lane to kind of help with the Batrider, and then just let the Doom get very farmed.
And then the farm Doom actually is really sick. It's so hard to bring him down, usually with physical damage, because he gets that Shiva's card, the AC up as well. And just
Scorched
pretty much
Earth.
unkillable. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And also, like, Doom's not one of those heroes where you're like, okay, well, you know, we're going to out-carry a Doom, because Refresher Doom is just so good. Well, you have 20k net worth? Okay, well, it's not present in this fight because I doomed you. So, they are going to go for a Dazzle. Very good with the Shadow Demon, plus also good to use Shallow Grave on whoever is doomed if you can possibly save them. That is drafted into an Ancient Apparition, though. So if they do have an Ice Blast in their Shallow Grave, then as soon as the Shallow Grave wears off, if the Ice Blast is still there, which is really difficult to get when that guy gets an
10
Aghanim
seconds
Scepter,
remaining.
they just shatter anyway, so... Pretty
5
ballsy.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, I guess they're banking it all on either being able to just
Reserve
dodge the
time.
Ice Blasts, or just get the early farm, get the early advantage that the Ice Blast won't be that significant. But that's kind of a gamble to take. But Bad Kid now, they have 2 cores already. I don't think they'll go for a jungler of sorts. So a secondary support, maybe. I really think like heroes like Shadow Shaman are just so strong because they have the double lockdown with the Hex, with the Shackles for that hero specifically against the Ember, just to make sure he doesn't fire Remnant away, and of course just the Mass Serpent wards to get some extra pushing power.
Yeah, I personally like Lion. Okay, so they do go with the Shadow Shaman, like you were mentioning.
Dire team.
I personally like Lion against Ember Spirit specifically, just because he has such low HP generally, and Finger of Death is very good against him. I also like Lina. I mean, if they go for a Flame Guard build, you can't exactly disable them, and the same way that Lion can with his Hex. But still, Lina has a lot of burst damage, and I think she pairs very well with someone like a Batrider.
Radiant team ban.
Anyway, Shadow Shaman going to be helping them with the towers, and also Mass Serpent wards are very good in team fights. If you just get those down and force the fight near the wards, and all of a sudden that's lots of physical damage as well. Viper going to be the next pick coming out from Kingdom. I think that they also don't want a Viper going up
10
against their Ember
seconds
Spirit
remaining.
mid, so that's probably a Viper in the tri-lane and an Ember Spirit mid.
5 seconds remaining.
It might be. Every now and then people run Ember Spirits mid lane, well, not mid lane, goddamn safe lane as well,
Reserve time.
which doesn't work out too well, to be honest, for them, especially because it doesn't get as many levels early. But the Viper
10 seconds
actually,
remaining.
he's a nice pick, I think, as far as having a Doom on the opposite side goes.
Dire team
Because even if the
ban.
Viper gets doomed, the Doom himself will be under the corrosive skin constantly then.
Yeah, normally Doom with Scorched Earth isn't really going to care that much. And I don't know. I hardly ever see any time when I think that Viper's a bad hero just because he
Radiant team.
does a lot of damage, he wins lanes, he is a core that builds a mech very quickly for your team, and he doesn't need a whole lot of items to get going, plus he does a lot of damage just from being alive in team fights. So, I never think that Viper is bad. But Bristleback going to be banned out, as well as the Lifestealer. Going to be coming out from Kingdom. Batrider and Lifestealer is very good at bursting any of these heroes down. Yeah, they're
10 seconds
quote-unquote
remaining.
elusive, and we were just saying that Viper was tanky, but they have very low HP pools
5
inherently,
seconds remaining.
and if you get bursted, especially with an AA Ice Blast, it can be quite difficult to deal with. The Bristleback, also
5
just really
seconds
difficult to deal with
remaining.
if you don't pick up a Timber Saw, and they decided to go with a Death Prophet.
Dire
So
team
AoE
ban.
Silence going to be used against the Ember Spirit, lots of pushing power. She can also Yules herself if she's taking too much corrosive skin damage. She can also build a Ghost Scepter during her ult and be using that. Also, if someone else is in trouble, late game, get an Blade on her as well. I like this a lot. It also forces Ember Spirit to do something like build a Manticide, which he doesn't really want to. So we have 3 cores, which have a
10
lot of
seconds
ways of
remaining.
locking down that Ember. He's going to have a sad game.
Yeah, he can't really
5
even
seconds
defensive
remaining.
items that well. Like you said, the Manta style, just to get out of the silence, nothing he would want to go for. And even if he goes for a
Reserve
BKB, Lasso as well as the Doom will still go through it, so this Ember most likely won't have a good game. But then again, if they manage to get the early start, or at least try to save the Ember with the defensive disruptions as well as the shallow graves, it might be fine for him. But to be honest, I really like Fat Kid's lineup overall. Just
I think it's pretty well constructed, yeah.
They have the magic burst, they have physical damage coming out from the exorcism from the Death Prophet, of course, the push with the exorcism, mass serpent wards, and of course Doombringer just to tank it up in the front lines. Kingdom now, 5th pick. Do you think they're gonna go for an offlaner now, or just?
I think they need to go for maybe. I'm not sure actually. I mean, you could run the Viper off lane. Maybe they could go for something like a Clockwork. That's some good jumping initiation. He also builds a Blade Mail pretty inherently, which is quite good against Death Prophet. They go with an Elder Titan. So, Elder Titan with Slate of Fist can be pretty dirty in some instances, but I think you have to be pretty far ahead for that. And he's going to be zoned out really, really easily. I don't really see how he's going to get much. And I'm seeing the lack of jump in initiation is really what's standing out to me. I think that Fat Kid, the biggest thing about Death Prophet is if she can take fights on her own terms and always get her ghosts up, she always wins. And I think that this initiation edge is slightly edging out Fat Kid's draft. But so we're going to go ahead and restart the stream for just a moment, everyone, to put on a delay. And then we'll be right back in with the player introductions. So, see you in a sec. And we're back. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the introductions here. On the side of Fat Kid, we have the Jokes going mid, pulled lots of tangos as a Death Prophet, doesn't even want one of them, throws it back in the fountain. On the support Shadow Shaman, we have the Jukes. On the Bat Rider, going in the offlane, we have Chad. On the support Ancient Apparition, we have Killua, and on the one position Doom, it is Fraga.
And for Kingdom on the dire side, 2D will be playing the Elder Titan in the offlane. Mid lane, Fixers will be playing on the Viper there, trying to battle up the Death Prophet.
30 seconds to
with
battle.
Yomo Kompaku playing the Shadow Demon. Fruits up on the Dazzle, and the last one in the tri-lane will be Smashy on the Ember.
Yeah, so tri-lane Ember, like we were mentioning earlier, is just pretty difficult because he benefits a lot more from levels than he does from farm, I think. Even if he has phase drums and he's only level 8 as opposed to level 11, I think that that's actually a huge difference for him. Just because his stats are so poor and so hard to come by and he's so squishy.
The battle
So
begins.
maybe he'll get some items, but this is also a circumstance in which Ember Spirit actually has a really hard time one-on-one against Bat Rider, so the supports can't exactly roam on mid to gank the Death Prophet, and Fat Kids has a better duo combo with that because the Doom's going to have an easy time against the Elder Titan if they decide to leave them alone. So, like I was saying, I'm still favoring Fat Kids draft, and the way that the lanes are shaping out, I'm still favoring those as well.
Yeah, like you talked about before as well, the Elder Titan probably gonna struggle real hard to actually find any points of XP on this bottom lane. Especially as they already used the Chilling Touch as well, it will run out. But if the Jukes only got a couple of right clicks off, it would have been worth it already. And Killua just starts the stacks, hopefully we'll be able to actually get the double pull going.
Yeah, you got that stupid Hill Troll Priest. It's going to take forever to kill this camp.
It's somewhat good at least.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
actually the Hill Troll camp almost single-handedly can wipe out the creep wave if you don't help it yourself.
Yeah, it gets pretty ridiculous there. He does get the pull through, so it'll be fine. Elder Titan actually manning up a bit. Throws out the Astral Spirit, gets some right clicks on the Doom, and actually he's going for the Jukes. Is he going to go for him? He eats a Tango. He goes in, one more right click is going to be able to get him. He actually gets first blood here. I don't know how they got a little bit overconfident there, but 2D moving in. Fraga going to be moving up with Scorched Earth. The slow is used from Killua, and wow. So talking about getting no experience, talk about getting first blood in a 3v1.
That's something that's not supposed to happen. Especially with an Elder Titan. I guess the Shadow Shaman wanted to trade right clicks, but if the Astral Spirit has gone through a few heroes and maybe even a creep wave, the Elder Titan actually starts hurting a lot. And of course Shadow Shaman, his movement speed is pretty much the worst as far as supports go. So just got chased down all mid lane though.
Oh, 285, oh god.
They're going on Death Prophet, they have the poison attack, they use the disruption as well. looks like it will be a kill. So 2 for 0 for Kingdom
Middle
early
tower
on.
is under attack.
That's a pretty nice start, which we weren't expecting for sure.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, if you get a good start in these lanes with their 3 cores, they can be fine. Especially in the period of time where Batrider's going to farm up his Blink Dagger, Death Prophet's going to farm up her first major item, whether it be drums or a mech for the team or a Yule Scepter, or Doom going to be getting that as well. All of these, like, the Doom and Death Prophet can just build so versatilely that we're not sure exactly what they're going to go for. If they're going to go for something greedy, like if Doom goes for a Hand of Midas, or if Death Prophet's going to be rushing a Bloodstone, anything like that. But I kind of expect them to try to get online early. But top lane, Batrider just harassing some with Firefly, trying to contest the pool. Going to be Poison Touch, but not going to be able to be brought down.
Oh god, bottom lane. This Elder Titan just go in man mode. Might get Kilo as well, needs one more right click, but the Ice Vortex slows him down enough still. Once again, 1 versus 3, getting 1 kill.
Yeah, I did not expect that at all. And that was the Shadow Shaman going down again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 0 for 2. I guess the Juke's just feeling a little bit overconfident. Now Elder Titan has a Soul Ring, so he's going to be able to just spam out the Spirit no matter what, just for last hits. It also is actually quite annoying to harass. They do get the Batrider on the top lane, and I missed that. Gosh. Now I know why Toby gets so mad whenever he misses a kill.
Radiant's top tower.
They happen so suddenly.
Yeah, especially if there's multiple lanes and you want to talk about what happened in the other lane, suddenly bam!
Do you see the smoke
All
from the
around.
Jukes? He's TP'd the mid lane and smoked, but also got the Crobolus. So it was seen by the creep wave and immediately
Radiant's
pinged
top
out from
tower is
Viper.
under attack.
So he's just not gonna. He's probably just not gonna go back mid, and if he does, he's just gonna probably sit behind these trees here. And Rasa, undercover smoke, disconnects. So we're gonna have to go ahead and wait for him.
Hoping it's not a rage quit or anything. Shouldn't be.
I fed 2 deaths. The game's over. They're like, no. We still have chance.
You can redeem yourself, man. Don't worry.
Come on. Why do you have to be mad? It's just a game.
Indeed. But the funniest thing is now that with the 2 kills, 2D on the Elder Titan is actually the exact same level as Fraga on the Doom.
He has more
doesn't look
XP.
like- yeah, he's not gonna get boxed out of this lane anymore as well, especially as the Shadow Shaman rotated mid. So this Elder Titan achieving way more than we gave him credit for already. And with the nice start early on, he's actually gonna be relevant as well.
Top lane's tower's getting pushed. I think that kind of expects this. He can't really face a Searing Chains heal bomb combo. Gonna be able to get it. Not out of deny range. Meanwhile, Jukes is still under the cover of smoke, going to the mid lane. Jokes getting gone on from the double damage Viper, and just gets taken immediately. Jukes too slow. Now he's gonna go down as well. Just throws out an Ether Shock, throws out a bind, but the defensive disruption comes out, and the right clicks from the Shadow Demon able to clean him up. Instant TP. So that's what we're talking about. That slow move speed from the Shadow Shaman requires really, really fast reactions.
This Viper, I mean, I just wanted to ask you what you think. Oh, Doombringer might go down bottom lane. 2D is chasing him, but Scorcher is enough for the extra movement speed. This Elder Titan just absolute man mode, and it's paying off.
It's like Bulba.
Yeah,
Seriously.
real men are not afraid.
Radiant's middle tower
If they
is under
aren't, they man up. That's how they succeed in life, by not being afraid.
Well, to be honest, as far as offlaners go, the supports usually think like, oh, he's gonna back off anyway, I can safely harass him out. But if they turn on you, there's not much you can actually do.
They're like, wait a second, they remembered they can do this? That's terrible.
And yeah, what I wanted to ask you is
Dyer's
what you
top
feel
tower is
about the
under
corrosive
attack.
skin getting maxed out by fixers.
Oh, I really like it. I personally prefer a max skin build most of the time on Viper, especially in the laning phase, just because that means that they can't really harass you out of the lane without taking a lot of damage. And Crit Swarm, yeah, it's 300 damage, but when you have 4.5 health regen at the second, and she's also taking max skin and she doesn't have regen, it's going to be hurting her. And also, there's a disruption, catch her into a Viper Strike, into a surround from the illusion. She can't even move, and there she goes down. So now she's sitting at 0 for 4 currently. Batrider comes in, he has a haste rune, but Viper gonna be able to just click him to death, I think. And he's got 3 seconds of napalm on him. Shadow Poison going to be taking out. Soul Catcher's on him as well. And actually, wait, no, he's going to... He dies! He does. That's why you max Corrosive Skin. My exact point right there.
It's so ridiculous. Viper was just standing in the Firefly. He's like, hey, you take more damage than I do, I don't care.
Yeah, and he has a mech. Okay, almost done. He's 150 gold from a mech at 6 minutes and 45 seconds. So, really, really fast mech. So, Kingdom getting a really, really good start, sitting at 9 for 1. And when you win all your lanes with this lineup, I think that you're at a good advantage. So, Bat Rider, Soul Catcher, Chains, dead. Tower goes down as well.
10 and 1, 7 minutes in. How can you come back from this? I mean, sure, Fat Kid, they have a pretty nice lineup when it actually comes to team fights. But they need a few more levels, especially for the supports. Both, well, actually the Chooks level 3 on the Shadow Shaman, Killua level 4 on the Ancient Apparition. They need the Ice Blast as well as the Mass Serpent Wards.
Yeah, and already being down 1 tower, only having a Acropolis, it's just level 6. Yeah, she has her ultimate, but it's really not scary, especially when she's going to die here. Purge going to be used immediately, Soul Catcher, Crit Swarm's thrown out, and just Spite, and now she's down at 0 for 5. So, I was thinking, you know, Acropolis is really weak to getting roamed on early, and I didn't think that Ember Spirit could be left alone against the Bat, but I was wrong, so chalk it up at 11 for 1, Kingdom leading Fat Kids by a lot. So.
I don't even remember the time when I last saw a team getting so demolished early on. At least in the kill department.
I think I saw one like the other day. I think it was God, I don't even remember now. It wasn't Scythe, but whatever. Oh, it was MVP Phoenix against another team, and it was just a complete stomp both games.
Yeah, I guess MVP Phoenix stomped. Well, they are playing in Division 2 in the Asia, so they should have the upper hand, even though they're probably the newer team. And actually the Koreans, they don't get as much credit, or actually maybe slowly they do. Because just the rate that they're
yep. Goodbye, Bat. Had his soul caught. And as a Bat Rider, as soon as you have boots, you're just kind of used to being able to not be zoned when you have Firefly. But whenever the other level supports are such a higher level than you're used to, a lot of that comfort zone is not safe anymore. And it's really hard to get used to that in mid-game for sure. You kind of just end up feeding, you know what I mean? It's like one of my friends, whenever he plays Clockwork, he's used to getting ahead really early and being able to take on anyone, and then he just ends up feeding if he doesn't get ahead early. And this is kind of what happens. Very hard to make that adjustment mid-game.
Yeah, old habits die hard.
Yeah, they sure do.
But well, 12-1 now. Viper has his power treads almost finished up as well with the Ring of Aquila on top, and the mech of course. And do you think they're actually maybe going to group up for pushes or so once the mech is finished?
I feel like they should. Ember Spirit though is getting some farm. He's actually going to be going for the Battle Fury build, as we already see the Perseverance up on him. But I feel like when they have the mech, they could at least force down these tier 1 towers mid and bot lane, and that could at least accelerate the Ember Spirit's farm. They don't have a blink on Bat Rider, so I really don't think that they should be giving the Doom and the Bat the room to really get what they need. So it looks like they're content to just lightly pressure all lanes and keep on farming, as they're going to be pressuring into the tier 1 mid right now. And Courier brings Viper his power treads. He's going to be moving in. There's a TP coming in. Glyph has been used. And Ice Vortex slowing him down. He's taking some tower damage. The tower down to 83 life points. Viper Strike going to be thrown onto the Jokes. Ghosts are going to be used. Exorcism comes out. The Doom comes in as well. He's going to throw the Doom on Viper as well. But he's just tanking through it. Look at this. The Weave helping him so much as well against the physical damage. There isn't even a grave. And 2D comes in. And there's a disconnect from the Ancient Apparition, actually. Rage Quit. But anyway, the tower goes down. 2D's coming in. There's a quick pause coming out as we have the disconnect from the AA.
Oh god, I mean, at least they got one kill. Success.
They got Ember Spirit. That hero's broken, right? So, you know.
You pretty much won the team fight by now. Kill off the broken hero, they just have to turn around and kill everybody else now. No biggie. But even with the Exorcism activated, sure, the Exorcism is annoying to go up against, but
It's just not good enough yet. Like, people think that Exorcism is good, but you need at least 3 to 4 levels in Witchcraft and a level 2 ulti for it to really actually pack a punch. So,
and game continues.
game continues. Well, speaking of Crobolus, her soul is caught
Kill.
and then taken away from her immediately as she comes out of the disruption. So now they're going to be forcing down this mid-tier 2. There is no glyph, and they know this, and they should be able to get this. They have a catapult in the way of a couple of range creeps, and they'll be able to take this down easily.
Yeah, to be honest, one thing we didn't even talk about is the Soul Catcher combined with the Natural Order of the Elder Titan to just burst down one single hero.
Radiant's middle tower has
That's
fallen.
pretty good.
And the Viper usually not the heaviest right clicker, but once he brings anybody like down to already half HP, the Nether Toxin will really kick in. And with the Soul Catcher and Natural Order on top of that, my god does it hurt, and they have their sights set on the Batrider now.
Yeah, Batrider down here trying to farm his Blink Dagger. He's actually going to be able to get it and buy it at the side shop. And there he goes. He buys it. It's immediately reset by the Astral Spirit. Shadow Poison as well going to be following. He's trying to Firefly through the trees, but he's just going to be setting a path for them to take and follow him. Viper going to be looking for him as well. And he should be able to blink and get away. Unless he probably is going to stick around for a lasso. No, he's not. He's going to chicken out because his team is going mid, and they're also just getting pushed top by a free farm member Spirit.
Dire's middle
Oh,
tower
this is
under
not
attack.
looking good. I mean,
I just did not
guess,
expect
is-
this at all, man. But when you win all your lanes, this is just what happens when you have a very mid-game centric lineup and you win all your lanes. You just have such an easy time, especially when this happens. He TPs mid, throws a Viper Strike on the Fragate. He throws a Doom on him as well, but he's just tanking it up. Exorcism going to be used from the Jokes. 2D comes in, Cold Free procs on the Fixers. He's just running through. He's man-loading it. He might actually die, though. No, Shallow Grave is here. He's safe from Fruits, and he goes up, and he's going to have his mech ready.
Unstoppable.
Shadow Demon manages to get a kill on the back lines. Meanwhile, Death Prophet is chasing Elder Titan. She manages to clean them up. Snashy comes in, gets a Searing Chains on the Batrider and cleans him up and then promptly running away. Exorcism is going to be chasing our Dazzle out, but in the meantime, in the backside, Fixers is chasing out the Juice. Now he's surrounded by 3, and he gets some health back from the Ghost, but not enough. And you chalk that up as a 4 for 1.
Once again, horrible fight for Fat Kid. And it's really feels like they can't even do anything. They just popped everything on the Viper, and Viper just shrugs it all off with Fruits giving a healing hand.
Does he have a point booster yet? Yeah, he does have a point booster. He seems pretty tanky there. Not used to Viper being this tanky 13 and a half minutes into the game.
Yeah, I think Fat Kid got a little bit caught off guard by that as well. They were like, okay, we popped the Exorcism, popped the Doom on him, he's sure to go down. Suddenly, nope. Point booster, 1.3k HP on him, and that's the tier 2 now as well on the top lane. Smashy getting it on the Ember, so he will have enough for the Battle Fury, to be honest. Well, 100 gold, 80 gold away.
Yeah, that Battle Fury is going to start doing some work. Actually, no, he's going for the Lincoln Sphere right away, so I made a mistake there. Makes sense, obviously, when you're going up against a Batrider and a Doom. So he's going to go for the defensive build first, right straight for the Lincolns before rushing any damage.
Yeah, it's the safest choice for sure, and there's no rush because they have Fat Kid completely boxed into their own base, so they can't really farm up anyway, whereas Kingdom, they have the whole map at their command. So no rush, maybe you can get a... Wow!
Oh my gosh. I've learned in many pub games that Soul Catcher works very well with a Dagon.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
To be honest, I don't think I've seen a Shadow Demon Dagon in a professional game, I think.
Alright, I think Hjort should be able to tell us that, shouldn't you, Hort?
Awkward silence. we have to wait for it. I think he's probably AFKing.
He said be my stats man. I thought he was joking, but you know. I want actual stats. He said he wanted to be my stats man.
I think he has a different meaning for stats, I guess.
So this is going to be the last outer tower going down. Being 5-man by Kingdom, not a single tier 1 down for them. Exorcism and Serpent Wards. He actually...
Middle tower
He's not... Wait, this Ross is not level 6?
Radiant's bottom tower is under
He's He's still not
Still?
level 6,
Oh
he's
my God.
120 XP away. Exorcism is going to be used as a TP coming in from Viper though, Fixers. Throws a Viper Strike on the Jukes. Earth Splitter's coming in as well, and the Jukes just immediately goes down. Doom being right-clicked down as well. He can't stand any damage. He's going to try a TP out, and they're fighting in the middle of Exorcism. This is supposed to be a terrible time to fight for them, but the Death Prophet just has to walk away. And never mind, Ember Spirit's going to be coming in. Might be able to get the Slate in the chains, throws out a Remnant. And it's, yes, he gets the chains. So Soul Catcher going to be there. Immediately secures the kill with the Shadow Poison.
They don't even have time enough to use the Dagon. That damage output. Wow.
Right,
Okay,
so
so well,
he's got a pretty good win rate. I think that we should see that item more often.
Yeah, it must be the item.
I mean, it must be.
Middle tower is under attack.
I mean, people talk about Dagon being like a troll item to just pick up when you're ahead, but it's just so good when you're ahead, mainly because when you have a big level advantage, the other team's just not going to have the stats to tank the burst. It's just going to be really difficult. Bowder comes in, shows off the Blink Dagger, lassos onto Trudy, but then he just walks away. He's already full health again. He has a Hood of Defiance. He takes literally no damage from Firefly.
This is really sad to watch. I mean, I really want to cry. One team is just getting, well, I don't want to say it usually, but that's rape at its finest.
It's just, at the higher levels, games seem very much more lopsided like this because everyone just knows how to press their advantage. And you'll notice the same thing if you're watching some other esports such as StarCraft, where it seems like when someone gets ahead, like, they just completely stomp the other opponent. And that's just because they know how to make the most of what they have in their toolbox. And when you win all your lanes, you 5-man and you win the game. You take all their towers. Good teams play objective Dota, such as the type that Kingdom is playing right now. They're patiently waiting on the high ground. They're sieging. They know that they can go back and take Roche if they want. They just got big items. They just finished the Lincolns onto the Ember Spirit. They also finished the Aghanim Scepter on Viper. They have their mech. They have the Dagon. They have literally everything they need to break high ground besides an Aegis. So Joke's going to be coming in. Purge going to be used. And he's going to be bursted down immediately. AA ult going to be coming in. Serpent Wards gets dropped defensively. And maybe they back up, but I don't really think that they need to. Pipe's going to be brought in immediately and used. Weave is going to be used as well. This team's just so hard to bring down. And it's just a complete standoff in the mid lane.
Yeah, the pipe actually might have been a little bit premature. Maybe should have waited for the creep wave. Sure, it mitigated some frostbite damage, but might have been put to a little bit better use. But they're gonna farm up the Mass Serpent Wards, and Echo Storm doesn't really connect on anything significant.
I'm not sure if it matters, man.
Yeah,
Currently,
there's
the
an
Dabble
Aghanim
has
now
more
as well
net
on
worth
the
than the
Vipers.
Batrider. And they just get to stand and watch the Strax go. Easy. Roster tries to walk up for like a second and gets blown up. Exorcism is going to be used, but the Doom is asleep as well. There's a lasso, but the defensive disruption after the lasso going to be used on the Viper, and he's just going to be able to click down the Batrider. In the back of the fight, Doom was used onto Trudy, and he's going to go down. Meanwhile, Death Prophet doesn't even get a kill. She's the only one alive. They're just going to wait out the Doom and take out the rats. And GG is called.
Just such a good hero at keeping people alive.
Yeah, Dazzle's really freaking good, man.
Barracks are under attack.
And this Dazzle, I mean, he's had some pretty clutch shallow graves as well, so definitely doing the work that's supposed to come out from a Dazzle. But, well, good game number 1, I guess. Hopefully, Fat Kid can show us a little bit of a better performance in game number 2.
Yep, absolutely. So, we'll see how it goes sometimes. One game stompy, the other one stompy in the other direction. So let's see. Join us for game 2 in just a moment. See you then.